opportunity. And with that, I'm going to get straight into it. So my name is Pavlo Phitidis. I'm one of the co-founders of Aurik. I'm the CEO of Aurik today, globally. I'm an investor. I've invested in about 62 odd businesses at this point in time. And I wrote 2 books, which thank you to many of you and many others who aren't with us on this particular session have become bestsellers in South Africa. So my question to you all is, what do you want to do with your business today? What do you want to do with your business today? Because it's so important to start with the end in mind. And generally, when I speak to business owners, what we notice across Aurik, they're one of 3 things that people want. The first thing, in no order, is they want to scale, grow, and dominate. But what does that mean? So the word scale, and we must become familiar with business language because we're all business owners. And as business owners, whether we're there because we have to be there or whether we're there because we want to be there, we are there. And right now, that's the only thing that counts. But because we are there, let's make the best of it. There's some people in business today who run businesses because they need to survive. And if they had a different choice, they might want to get a job in a big, comfortable corporate. And we know that those jobs are not so big and comfortable. The benefit of being in your own business is that you've got control over your future. But to not define that future and not be clear on what you want in the future means that today, the things you're doing aren't moving in the direction of that future. So scale means, and I'm going to ask you, let me just mute you. There we go. Scale means you're building a business that has a foundation. So if you think about a building, before you build a building, you dig your foundation, right? You lay your concrete, you lay your slabs, and the way that you create the foundation will let you build 1 story, maybe 2 stories, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 stories. The taller the building, the deeper the foundation. That's all scale means. Scale means every day, in the day-to-day things that you do, how well organized are you? And do you have a team of people that you can rely on in order to do the things like market the business or meet with customers to support the selling in the business? And when you get a customer on board, how do you deliver your service? How do you deliver your products? How do you do the job that you've promised to do for the customer and the client? How do you manage the administration, the invoicing, most importantly, the invoicing? The extent to which you can create scale, a foundation, then gives you the opportunity to grow the business. If you don't first create scale, the foundation of the business, well, then every time you grow and get a new client, you go back to do all those things I've just spoken about, which means nobody's selling to get the next client and the next client and the next client. So for some of us, the idea of building scale so we can grow and lead an industry is what we want over the next 5 to 7 years. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you want that? In the next 7 years, how many of you want to scale, grow, and dominate in what you're doing? Okay, I'm putting my hand up for sure. Oh, very few. Lando's there. Zelpa's there. Findi, fantastic. Good. Findi, you and I are same page, huh? Molani, we're same page. Okay, next option. Next option. Some of us want to grow our sales and profit so that in the next 3 to 5 years, we can sell our businesses. And that's an important thing because for many of us, the opportunity to have built and sold a business, make your wealth, has not happened in our generation. You know, when you go to the US, when you go to those environments where you're seeing 3, 4, 5, 6 generations of family in business, in those environments, many people have started, built, grown, and sold a business in order to do it all again and again and again. But here in South Africa, many of us have not ever started, built, and sold to get the big money, to then start, build, and sell again, to get twice the money, to then start, build, and sell again a third time. And that is a career choice that some people have. The other option over here is that you decide you're going to grow this business over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And you're going to increase the sales, you're going to increase the profit, so that a big corporate will come one day and say, Shamila, I want to buy your business. I want to buy your business. And when they buy your business, you get what we call a capital gain. They pay you a large sum of money, you pay your tax on it, 20%, and that is your wealth that the business has given you. That is your financial legacy. And then some of us are in a position where we're turning around and saying, no, no, no. I want to grow with a view to sell, but I don't want to sell to a corporate client. I don't want to sell to a business. I don't want to sell to a private person. What I want to do is transfer the business to my children or to my management team who want to buy the business from me. But in all cases over here, you need to think about where you want to be 5 to 7 years from now. And the reason is this. Right now, we are all walking. We are walking in the economy. Look behind you, you can see your footprints in the economy. And the people who will get to the end quicker are the people who walk in the straightest line. Many of us, when we look behind us and we look at those footprints, we see footprints going in all sorts of directions. Up, down, left, right, backwards, forwards, in circles, and every now and then some straight lines. To the extent that we know where we are going, we then know in which direction to walk. And with every step we take, it must take us closer to where we want to be. So knowing why you do what you do is the most important thing. Doesn't matter how difficult things are now. We will talk to that and we will sort that out. Knowing where you want to be is the most important thing. And the reason it's so important is because the only thing you should worry about is what you have control over. You've got no control over our politics. You've got no control over the economy, no control over COVID. You've got no control over your employees, your customers, your suppliers. The only thing you have control over is what you can do yourself. And all of that depends on your attitude. If your attitude is not anchored in what you want down the line, then your footsteps will be all over the place. Okay, so my first challenge to all of you is sit down and think. And I swear, Monday morning, 8 o'clock, if you don't know right now, you need to be clear on what you want to get out of your business in the next 7 years. Just wait for the bandwidth. building an asset of value. If we're going to get this right, doesn't matter which one of the three you want, whether you want to scale, build, and dominate your industry, whether you want to grow your profit and revenue so that you can sell your business, whether you want to pass your business on to a future generation, it might be family or it might be your management team. We've got to get these things right. From a leadership point of view, how do we build a business that is useful and relevant in a very, very competitive economy where things are changing every day? Sorry, let me just, guys, if you can please mute your microphones. We'll open up as soon as we get to the other end of the presentation. So relevance is important. What worked before COVID didn't work during COVID, and what's going to work after COVID, and let's just be very clear, COVID has another year and a half, 2 to 3 years. Easy, it's going to be with us for some time. You need to be relevant. If you're not relevant, no one's interested in working with you, no one's interested in becoming a customer, no one's interested in becoming a supplier. It's a big challenge. Next one, how are you spending your time? If you're spending your time doing everything in your business, then who's focusing on growing the business? How do you keep control of your business? If you employ people to help you grow the business, how do you educate your people? How do you transfer responsibility to your people? How do you understand how you can depend on your people so that you're not the only one in the boat pulling the oars? You want to get everyone pulling the oars in the same direction at the same time so that you can grow your business through people. The engines of a business, all businesses have the same engines. How do you find, win, and hold customers? Where are these customers? Are you actively hunting customers or are you waiting for them to come to you? And when you get your customer, how do you deliver your promise? How do you implement your service? How do you do so in a way that makes that customer want to remain with you? And in doing so, how do you build that team? How do you get the right people to do the right thing at the right time all the time? Because that is one of the most unpredictable parts of any business. Finding customers, holding customers, growing customers, mechanically, technically, it's easy to do in a business. And we'll talk to how. Running your operations, organizing your administration, technically easy to do, but getting the right people to do the right thing at the right time, it's one of the biggest challenges that we all face in business, here in the US, in the UK, and across Europe. Finally, we need to think about the future. Where will growth come from? And if we get growth in revenue and sales, is it growing our profit? Because if you're not growing profit along with your sales, then why are you doing what you're doing? You need to fix that. We need to make sure that profit and sales grow together. Are you building a job or are you building a business that can be sold in the future? All of us should be thinking about the reality that one day we are all going to get old. In fact, every day we're getting one day older. And what happens when we feel too tired or when we are just exhausted from the business? It's important that we've made sure today that that future date means that we built a business that can be sold, because that's the legacy that your business should deliver to you and your family. And then finally, the whole question of wealth. What does it mean? What does it mean as a business owner? There are three parts to it. Number one, your business needs to make money. With the money you make in your business, you must use it to grow the money by growing your business. And as you grow it, you need to grow it into a business that will not depend on you. Because if it depends on you, it means at the end of the day, it cannot be sold. I come knock on your door to buy your business. If I see that you are critical in the business, that without you there, you're not going to find win and whole customers, that without you there, operations is chaotic, that without you there, your team don't know what to do. It means that what you've created for yourself is a job. If all of those things can happen without you there, it means that in me buying your business, it will continue to do in the future what it's done for you in the past. So I can pay you the money for the business, you can step out, and I know that my future will look like your past. It makes the business sellable. And if a business cannot be sold, then you can never ever realize that final payment for all the years of hard work and risk. So in the work we're doing with you, we resolve all these problems. We fix all these problems by building the business into an asset of value. And an asset of value is the design of a business. You know, you must think about it. You must think about what lets your business work and not work. It's very similar to a building. Let me go back to a building. A building doesn't just happen. A building is designed and then it's built. And it's built with hands. And we build our businesses with our hands. But if you don't know what you're building, what are your hands doing? And the reason you don't know what you're building is because you don't know what you want. So if we know what we want from our business, in whichever industry we're in, so for example, the building I'm building is going to be a warehouse. The way I design the warehouse is very different to if the building I'm building is going to be a hotel. The design of the hotel, the design of the warehouse needs to fit the requirements of a hotel or fit the requirements of a warehouse. And then when I've got my plan, the design, the map, the blueprints, the architectural diagram, now I know what my hands need to do. And a business is no different. An asset of value is a design for a business that will give you those three outcomes. It's either going to be scale, grow, and dominate your industry, or it's going to be increase sales and profit so you can sell it, or it's going to be a business that you can pass on to the next generation. And let's just talk through the elements of it. The first layer is about positioning. You know, last night on 702, I did a radio show with Bruce Whitfield on The Money Show. And the show was all about how you understand your business. And most of us start our business either because we can create a service and deliver a service, or we can make a product and deliver a product. We can either get the product from overseas, from a big organization and sell it on to our clients, or we might make it. We might make the product. The product doesn't build a business. The service doesn't build a business. The most valuable thing that you need to get money into a business is a customer. And I want to ask all of you, think about it. When's the last time you spent money anywhere? The last time you spent money is where you had a problem, and spending the money to buy a product or to buy a service fixed the problem for you. And when you did that, you had a good experience. You were treated with respect. You were empowered to make a good decision around buying the service or buying the product. And you felt confident that the business that sold you the product or service would deliver on their promise. There are very, very, very few cases that we spend money ever on anything that doesn't solve a problem for us. The problem might be seen to be a luxury. So you go and you buy a big screen TV and a comfortable lounge suite. Well, is it a luxury? If your home is a place where your family come and your family gather, and you want to create warmth and comfort for your family because connection to family is important for you, the problem that the TV and the lounge suite are solving is that it's creating a place where your family want to be. And when your family are there, it means you're getting what you need, connection with your family. That lounge suite is not a luxury purchase. That lounge suite is solving a problem for you. So when we look at our customers, don't look at our customers with an idea of what the product is that we have or the service is that we have. You need to look at the customer and say, what problems do they have that I can solve with my product or service? And what experience do they want in how they learn about me, how they build their confidence with me? What do I need to show them to build confidence in me? How does that whole process need to be designed? And that's the starting point of every business. And you know what? All of us begin somewhere. In the very beginning, we start with the product, we start with the service, and we hustle. You sell it to anyone and everyone. But I can promise you, Gladwin, you and I've got very different problems. I don't know your history and your background. You don't know my history and my background. And if Zelpa is selling us a product, the problem it solves for me is probably different to the problem it solves for you because of our different histories and our different circumstances. And what becomes important when you're starting out a business and you're hustling to get revenue in and to get cash flow in and to get sales in, at some point in time, you've got to turn around and say, you know what? I look at Gladwin. Gladwin's buying my product again and again and again. Pavlo bought it from me once only. I'm going to go and understand what problem I'm solving for Gladwin. And then I want to see how many people I believe are in the economy similar to Gladwin. Because if I've understood the many Gladwins out there, and I know what problem I solve for them, now I know how to market my product, I know how to sell my product, and I know the expectations that the Gladwins out there would want when I deliver my promise. So when people say to me, hey, listen, I serve the blue chip corporate clients in mining, in banking, in hospitality, in transport, in energy, in utilities, I know that they don't understand what business they are in. Because the way people buy a product or service in mining is so different to the way people buy a product or service in retail, which is so different to how people buy a product or service in insurance and banking. If we don't understand who eventually we want our customers to be, we will never understand what problem we solve for them and what experience they want. And we will only always find ourselves fighting on price and chasing anything and everything where we think we can get income. That never allows you to design a business that can one day operate without you. It feels like this. Imagine, because when it comes to this product here, there are many people that offer it. And a customer looks at you and says, well, what makes you different? What makes you different? Because if you're offering this and 100 other companies are offering this, then who's got the power? The power sits with the customer. And as a customer, when I've got power, what am I going to do? I'm going to squeeze your price. Because if this is the same as everyone else out there, and everyone else out there is offering this, which is the same, then the power sits with the customer. It's so important that we get that element solved in our businesses. We call that positioning. Once we've understood who our customers are, and we understand how they behave, and we understand what problem we can solve for them with our service or our product, we then need to build systems. And that work we're doing with you. Systems are made up of 6 pieces. It's activities in a sequence that gives a measured outcome. So for example, if I build a marketing system, which is going to be using email, and let's say I am marketing my products and my services to the head of procurement in the hotel industry. I then know that every month I need to create an email with an offer, and I need to make sure that it gets to the head of procurement in the many hotels that I want to reach. Activities in a sequence that can be measured. The activities are: get a list of all the procurement heads in the hotel. Activity 1. Activity 2, create an offer in an email. Activity 3, send it off every month on the 15th. Activity 4, I sent it off to 50 hotels. I got 5 inquiries back. I can measure it all. Because when you get a system built to market your business and find new customers, in that case, you can employ someone to run that system for you. When the inquiry comes in from a customer saying, I'm interested to learn more about your offer, how do you educate that customer on why you are the best choice for them? How do you build their confidence that you will deliver on your promise? How do you build the confidence that your product or service will solve their problem for them? Those are activities that you design in the selling process. I sent 50 notices out in my marketing system. I got 5 inquiries back. How am I going to engage those 5 inquiries to make sure that they pick me as their service provider? Activities in a sequence that can be measured. If I win 3 of the 5 inquiries, operationally, how am I going to deliver on my promise? What are the activities I need to put in a sequence to make sure that they get exactly what I promised, and they get it in a way that they expected me to deliver it? We call those the systems of a business. Every business has to market to find clients. Every business has to sell to convert a client into a customer. Every business has to operate in order to fulfill their promises. Every business has to administer to create a good experience for that client. Those are the cogs of the business, and every business needs to have one. And when we have those cogs working to reach all the Gladwins out there in a way that Gladwin learns, you can solve my problem, and you do so by giving me a good experience, because the cogs you've built, the gears you've built to market the business, to sell the business, to fulfill and operate the business, and to administer the business are working neatly together. It puts us in a very powerful position, because what we can then do next is get the right people to do the right thing at the right time. It's far easier for me to employ Zelda to market the business if I know what the system of marketing looks like. Because I can say to Iselda, every month you build a list of 50 procurement managers, and every month you send them this email that talks about the offer of the month. And every month, when the inquiries come back, pass those inquiries to sales. It's far easier to employ Iselda to do that than to say, Iselda, thank you for agreeing to come work for me. Can you market the business? Because if it's Iselda, or if it's me, or if it's any one of your employees, they've got the job, they need the job, we need our job. I'm scratching my head saying, well, how am I meant to market your business? And what happens? Then Key, what happens after a while? After a month, after 2 months, after 3 months, you start getting frustrated. Pavlo, I've employed Pavlo to market my business. He's got lots of talk, but where are the customers? They're not coming in. But if you employed me to run your marketing system, that you, as the business owner, taking responsibility for your business, knows that it works because you built it, you tested it, you have seen it work. Because you have a system, you can employ me and train me on the system. And because that system will say, Pavlo, 50 emails a month, 5 need to come back. You can measure my performance. And if I'm falling short on performance, you can understand where I'm falling short so you can capacitate and train me to meet that performance. Which one of the two will give you as the business owner a better outcome? Pavlo, come in and market my business, or Pavlo, come in and run and lead the marketing system that I built to market my business? It's obvious, right? These 3 pieces, these 3 layers in your asset of value, in whichever industry you're in, and whatever size the business is, will give you these outcomes. When we talk about organic growth in a business, organic growth means that the way your business works and the team who are working that business can mostly do it without you. It means that every year, year on year, your business will grow at 6-7%. R1 million this year will be 1,070,000 next year, will be 1,200,000 the following year. That's organic growth. The second thing it gives you is time. Because your team know what they need to do, because you have built the right systems in your business, because you know which customers you want to become expert at servicing, time is released. And with that time, we then focus with you on the next 2 layers. The next layer is about accelerated growth, next level growth. If your business is growing at 7, 10, 12% every year, how do I get my business to grow 30, 40, 50% for the next 3 years ahead? And ladies and gentlemen, you carry the risk in your business. You think about your business 24/7. Your team is thinking about your business from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Because you're thinking about your business 24/7, you will see the opportunities for that growth. If I'm servicing the hotel groups, and my marketing system's working well, and my sales system's working well, and my business is growing at 10% per year, which other industry out there has the same problem that I'm successfully solving for hotels that I can now find to increase my growth? Maybe it might be supermarket sector. Let me go and learn and understand if the problems they have with the product and service that I've got is useful to them. The only person who can make that judgment, that call, to carry that risk is you. But if you've got no time to do it because you are busy 24/7 doing everything in the business, you will never get to a place where you can get to the next level. And once you've identified where the new opportunity to now bring the supermarket sector in with the hotel sector happens, the most important thing you need to do there is make sure that you're not only growing your sales, but you're growing your profitability. If you're not growing your profitability, you will never have the funding for accelerated growth. This that I'm showing you is a design, it's the blueprint, it's the map of how you build any business, whether you're in the hospitality sector, whether you're in retail, whether you're selling to SMEs, or whether you're selling to multinational corporates. They're all the same. You need to know what problem you solve for your customer. You need to know how to create systems to service that customer. You need to know how to get a team on board to lead those systems so you can release your time to focus on accelerating your growth and deepening your profit. Getting that right will give you these three outcomes: exciting growth, profit, and time. I want to share a story about one of our clients. They were involved in general construction. They've been going for 14 years. And the way they were doing the building is they were selling building work to you and me as residential homes. They were selling it to some small shopping centers. They were offering to build some small factories. They were tendering along with the big 5 construction companies for big corporate buildings. They had some civils work with some municipalities. I was hustling. He was hustling. And the construction sector is a tough sector. You've got to hustle. Because every time you get a construction job, you get your deposit, and you're meant to use the deposit to buy the materials you need. You need to have a team that goes to the site, but you're running another site somewhere else. And for various reasons, you've fallen behind on that site. So some of the deposit from the new job goes to providing materials to finish the other job, because unless you finish that job, you don't get paid. It's a hard industry. It's hard. It's hard. It's up and down like a roller coaster. Project revenue is very hard. And then on top of it, he had skills challenges, because he would find a good carpenter. He would put the carpenter on site, but the materials didn't arrive because he never had the money yet to buy the materials from the supplier. So the carpenter is sitting on the site, costing money every hour. And eventually he says, listen, you need to go because I can't pay you for every hour. There are no materials. The materials are only coming next week. He gets the money for the materials. The materials arrive at the site. What's missing? There's no carpenter. So he finds another carpenter, and that carpenter's skills are not good. So the carpenter uses the materials, does a terrible job. The customer says, redo the job. He gets rid of the carpenter, but now he's got no money for the materials. Difficult business. So we started to do some work with this business. And what did we do with them? We said, how are you going to position your business to only have one kind of customer? Because if you have one kind of customer and you understand what problem they've got, you understand how they buy from solutions or service providers like you, You understand what you need to show them so you can build their trust and confidence. If I can find my Gladwin out there and really understand Gladwin, what I learned from Gladwin will help me serve the next Gladwin, the one thereafter, and the one thereafter. Because they all behave in the same way, because they all have a similar problem, it becomes easier and easier and easier to find Gladwins, to market to Gladwins, and to win their business. And what this business owner eventually did is he turned around and he said, you know what, I'm going to build loft rooms in houses. So you have a house, we have a big roof, and in that roof, I'm going to create a room. And that room can either be a bedroom, it can be an office, it can be a studio. So he created 3 designs, one design to make a bedroom, one design to make an office, one design to make a studio. And each of those designs, he understood exactly who would want them. So in a B-income neighborhood where there were young families forming and the families were growing up and the mom and dad in the house were saying, gosh, when we had our 3 children, they were easy when they were kids, but now they're becoming teenagers. We need to create more space in the home. Selling a home to buy a bigger home is very, very, very expensive. How can we make our home bigger? He knew exactly where to find families that had that problem. He knew exactly where to find families where, as the kids were young, the parents were getting old, and the parents had to move in with the family because the parents needed to be looked after. He knew exactly where to find the families where the one parent would stay at home, work from home, in order to create an office in the ceiling, in the roof. So he created a sales and marketing system. He knew where to market, to find those families. And when they came on board, he knew that if they needed a bedroom, he knew how to sell the bedroom to them. If they needed an office, how to sell the office to them. If they needed a playroom for the kids, how to sell the playroom service to them. Designs, he had testimonials from other customers that had bought the service from him. He knew, because he had 3 designs only, what the materials were he needed for each of those designs. And he knew exactly where to get them. He knew the skills that he needed. He knew what kind of electrical skills, what plumbing skills, what carpentry skills. He knew the painting skills he needed, the carpet laying skills he needed. And eventually he built a team. And because he started to market more and more and more and get more and more and more customers on board, the team was employed permanently, not on a contract basis. And because the team started to work more effectively together, they could get the job done quicker. And over time, he knew that one of the clever ways to market his service was through estate agents. They would often say to a potential buyer of a home or a seller of a home, you should think about putting a loft in your home. It increases the value of your home. It gives the home more utility. It can be made into a bedroom, an office, a playroom. It creates more space for the family. In 2 years, the general construction firm that he had, which was producing no profit, which was earning him 28 million rands worth of revenue a year, in 2 years, it went to 42 million rand and was giving him a 10% profit. That's a 4.2 million rand profit at the end of that year. A simpler business, an easier business to run. grew faster and made more profit. So, only two destinations for all of us. Only two destinations for all of us. It's either a sale one day, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, or we close. And what's important is let me help you value your business today. The way that valuation starts, the way that you need to look at your business is you say, what is my profit? What is my before tax profit at the end of my last financial year? Let's say it was R1 million. It means if someone's going to buy your business, they will see your business to be worth R2 million. So you take your profit and you times it by 2. And then the negotiation begins. Your job is to protect your valuation. The buyer's job is to try and get the business for less than R2 million. The first thing they're going to ask you is what makes your business special? And if you say my product makes my business special or my service makes my business special, they know that there are thousands of other businesses out there with the same product or service. If you say my business focuses on the hotel groups, my business focuses on the Gladwins, my business is focused on B-income families looking for lofts, either as an additional bedroom, office, or studio. And I'm expert at understanding where they are, and I'm expert at giving them a great service so that they stay with me. You get a tick. The buyer then says, but who makes the whole thing happen? How does it all work? And if you can show that you have a marketing system and a sales system and an operation system and an administration system, the buyer says, okay, I understand who your customer is, and now I understand how your business services that customer. Then the buyer says, but who's going to do it? Because if I buy your business today, you're gone tomorrow, who does it? And if you can show that your employees, your team, run the systems to make the business happen, you are showing me as your future buyer that without you there, if I buy the business today, tomorrow it will continue to run. And then I ask, but where will the future growth come from? And if you can show me that you've been building loft apartments in houses in one part of the country and say, you know what, in that other part of the country, there are many, many B-income households that don't have an opportunity to put lofts in because there are no providers out there. My next growth will come from them. Or if you can show me that the problems you solve in the hotel groups are similar to the problems in the supermarket groups, I can now see a future increase in revenue. And then my final questions to try and get the price down will be around this. I'm going to say, Zola, without you there, will this business continue tomorrow? And if you can show me that because of the system of delivery and because of your team, that without you there, the business will continue tomorrow. Remember I said the valuation works 2 times your profit. If you're making R1 million, the valuation is R1 million times 2. This is what happens. As you position and you can show me that you're special, it's profit times 3. If you can show me a system of delivery, it's profit times 4. If you can show me that you've got a good team on board, it's profit times 5. If you can show me that you've got a growth plan for the business, it's profit times 6. If you can show me that you don't need to be there, it's profit times 7. The same business that had a 2 million rand selling price now has a 7 million rand selling price. If you can't show me that there's nothing special about your business, If you can't show me that the business doesn't have proper systems, if you can't show me a team that knows what they're doing, if you can't show me where future growth comes, if you can't show me that without you there, all of this falls apart, a business that could have had a 2 million rand valuation has a valuation of 1 rand. This builds an asset. This builds a job. And it's our job working with you to make sure that together we build your business into that asset. The way we do it, building a business is like sailing a ship. If you look at the ship over here, there are 2 places to be. You can be on the bridge of the ship. That's where you have instruments. As the captain of the ship, you decide which destination you are going to, your future. Going right back to my very first slide, they're one of 3 destinations for all of us that we should be thinking about. Monday morning, 8 o'clock, you need to be sure that you are going to that destination. Every business has to have an engine room. The engine room drives the propeller, it makes the ship go. This is our system of delivery and our team. And the way we work with you is over a journey. We've done diagnostics on your business. We set goals. We're then going to decide how we position our business. We're then going to work with you and your team to create marketing and sales systems. We're then going to work with you and your team to create operating systems and finance systems. Whilst we work with you, we're working with your team to build these systems so that they can become responsible for the systems. And with that, we start to build a business that can attract funding or next level growth opportunities. We do it working with you through all our facilitators. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm begging you, please take advantage of our facilitators, please. Please bring your team into the sessions with you. Because if they build these systems alongside with you, in doing so, they're learning how to do it. It makes your ability to delegate responsibility to your team far easier. The second thing we do, create a dashboard. I'm begging you, please complete your dashboards every month. Because if you complete your dashboards every month, that information will help you see if you are sailing on a journey that looks like this or a journey that is straight and true. That information helps you look at your footsteps to make sure that you're walking in a straight line to your end goal. That information provides all the evidence that one day somebody who wants to buy your business would want to give you not 2 times your profit number, but 7 times your profit number. It's a discipline, and building a business is largely about having good discipline, good habits. What's the most precious thing available to all of us? What can we never ever get back? Time. Time. How do we spend our time? We need to spend our time by building our businesses into an asset of value. I've had you for an hour, and I said that the last 15 minutes, what we would do is end the presentation and move into questions. As I end this presentation, I'm asking you, please think about your next 5 to 7 years ahead. As hard as things are right now, and with all the worries and troubles you have right now, if you don't think with the end in mind, if you don't tomorrow begin with the end in mind, you will carry on walking with footsteps that will take you in circles, take you left, take you right, take you back, take you forward. If we start with the end in mind, working with us, we can help you start solving problems today in a shape and in a manner and in a form that will move you towards that future destination. Because if time runs out, and we're all getting older, if time runs out and you're not there, then you're in a situation where you won't have a business to sell. You're in a situation where your business does not become your family's wealth-generating legacy. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to move us into a Q&A session. Good. Okay. So, Joshna, your hand's up. Guys, please keep the questions. Introduce yourself. Say, hi, I'm Pavlo. I work at Aurik, and we work with business owners to grow their businesses into assets of value. My question is, so everyone can learn about what you do. And whoever asks a question, if you want to make contact with them, get onto the chat, find that person, send a message. Okay, let's turn this into business for each other.
Hi, good morning. My name is Joshna Nagar. I am the owner of APJ Technologies. We initiate, build, and launch business ideas into affordable, scalable, and innovative software solutions for micro, small, medium, and large enterprises. My question is, so I listened to, bringing down, focusing your customers, and I'm very interested in the design, because there are three parts to my business. And I'm just wondering if it's too broad. So I've got websites that we build, then I've got products that we've produced, and then there's the usual web applications and mobile apps that we also produce. Is that a good design? So for each one of those, I have specific customers that I go for.
So, okay, that's a very good question. So just to be clear, Joshna's got 3 different products and services that she offers to 3 very different kinds of customers, right? And the question is that a good strategy? Will that eventually build an asset of value? In the beginning, for all of us, you do the business that gets you sales. It doesn't matter who you go to, where you go to. You do the business that gets you sales. But there's a problem with this, right? It gets you sales, it gets you cash flow, but it creates very, very difficult operations in the business. Because now you need different skills for product 1, different skills for product 2, different skills for product 3. And in a way, it's no different to sailing 3 different ships. All the ships are sailing, they're all generating income. That's why you're serving 3 different clients with 3 different products, as opposed to 1 client with 1 product and spending your energy on building a bigger ship with a bigger engine, which is easier, right? Think back to the construction business. When he got a job to build a swimming pool, and then he got another job to build a 1-story house, and then he got another job to build a small factory. The skills and the understanding you need to build a swimming pool are different to a house, which are very different to a factory. The suppliers are different. The designs are different. The risks are different. But in the beginning, he had to say, I can build, and I'm going to generate income by providing a wide range of building services. It's the only way to start. But when you start to get revenue, sales, income, and for so long as you are saving and not spending your money poorly, and you start to build your own bank account, you need to step back and say, of those 3 clients or customer groups that I serve, which ones are the most profitable? Which ones are buying repeatedly from me? Which ones do I have the ability to scale and grow? Which one of those client groups can I eventually deepen and deepen and deepen my business into so I become a dominant player? And the moment you get there, you need to ask yourself a different set of questions. It's not about my product. It's all about that customer. And as I've realized that the Pavlos of the world are not my right customer, I'm going to keep them while they're paying me, and the Gladwins of the world are my right customers. I'm going to start understanding how I can reach more and more and more Gladwins through the same marketing system and the same selling system and the same servicing system and the same product suite that currently the Gladwins of the world buy me. And it's a transition that all of us have to go through. And Joshna, I work with companies in South Africa, in the United States, in Europe, in the UK, that are doing revenues of 50, 200, 300 million rand a year, and they still have not figured this out. And when I speak to those business owners, they hate what they do. They're exhausted. And these businesses with these big sales numbers have got, Olani, you know what I mean when I do this? No, it's not that, my friend. That's their profit. 300 million rand of revenue, and Omar, 300,000 rands worth of profit. It's madness. It's madness. When they eventually say, okay, we are going to stop trying to be everything to everyone, we're going to focus and get our positioning right and build a business that becomes expert at solving, for example, only the hotel groups and the supermarkets. The 300 million rand revenue turns into an 8-9 million rand profit. So you've got to decide when you feel confident enough to stop focusing on your products and to focus on your customers and say, I'm going to start letting the Pavlos go. It's scary because I'm still making money off the Pavlos, but I'm going to start servicing the Gladwins out there far better. And then I'm going to find more of them. One of the hardest things for me in Aurik is when I started to have to learn to say no to people who wanted to spend money with me for the service we offered. Seth, it was one of the scariest things. It was the scariest transition. If I had not grown up beyond that, we would still be a small outfit today. And today we have over 3,000 clients in 5 countries. Because we decided to focus in on one kind of client only, the private business owner, not the corporates, not government services, none of those. I hope that helps as a question and answer.
That was brilliant. Thank you.
Olani, your hands up, my brother.
No, Pablo, I was just listening to you, man. That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions? Any other questions? I don't see any other hands up. I know we all have to get to our business. Take advantage, because if you ask me for a session, I'll give you a session to consult. But if I find it, you're going to pay, my brother, you're going to pay. I'm going to charge you in dollars. I'm going to charge you. So ask for free today. Okay, let's start at the top over there. Farisana Building Construction.
Yes, sir. Actually, I was off maybe for about 35 minutes. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't be, you wouldn't let me in. So the network was off. Now it came back. I left behind, actually. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. All right, but no question otherwise.
Nope, nope, nope.
Okay. Next to my screen, Lani.
Hi, Pablo, and hi, colleagues. Thank you very much for the opportunity. The question that I wanted to ask, for instance...
Wait, what business are you in? What business are you in?
Sorry.
Market your business. Market your business. Take advantage, my brother. Take advantage.
Apologies. Okay, the business name is Ntumbeza Enterprises. We are Sage Cloud Business and Cloud Payroll Advisors. So we provide your online accounting, payroll, video conferencing solutions, Wi-Fi and data solutions, and point of sale solutions.
Excellent. Good. Thank you. And the question?
Okay, the question is, with the services that I've just mentioned, right? We service quite a broad client base. So going back to what you were saying, as far as aligning yourself to only work with a certain group of clientele. Now, doesn't that pose a risk of maybe minimizing your profits and also slowing down the growth of the business?
Very good question. So the process around building an asset of value is where in the beginning you go broad until you've learned which customer segments are the most profitable.
Okay.
And then you start to narrow to the ones that are most profitable for you. You know what's so interesting? I've worked with business owners, second generation, right? So the mother and the father start the business, they bring their kids in, and then the fights begin because the mother and the father are saying, well, you know what, I built this for my children and I want my children now to run the business because my children are my pension plan, you see? We all know about that. All of us know that story. We all know that story. And the kids come in and say, well, we want to grow the business beyond where it is. That family comes to Aurik and we start the process. And we then start always by looking at customers, as we've done with many of you. We organize the customers into segments, and very quickly, the son or the daughter looks at Zola and says, but mother, father, Zola's costing us money. Every month she buys from us, but we're making no profit. I'm going to increase the price to Zola. Otherwise, she mustn't be a customer. And what does mother and father say? Pavlo, Zola was one of the first people who supported us. She was one of the first customers to use us. She trusted us when no one else would trust us. That story is happening right now, right across business. Only for the lucky people in business that decided to do an analysis, Olani, on organizing their customers into segments and then looking at the numbers to see whether they were making money off each of the segments. So I'm going to say it again. In the beginning, you will be all things to all people. You say no to nothing. You get the business done and you get the money in. But the moment you're sitting with 13, 14, 15 people, the moment you're sitting with 800,000 in the bank, your job as the business owner is to lead the future. And if you don't change the way you were born, you won't change the way you grow up. And that's where all of us go wrong. We forget to switch. They talk about next level growth. That's what next level growth is. Next level growth is taking a step back, saying, the wolves are not at the door anymore. I've got money in the bank. I've got a team. I need to think about how to be smarter in my work as opposed to working harder. And it's very personal, and it's based on the circumstances of your business. Remember, what I've shared with you over here is the end position, because that's the path we must walk towards. Afande.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me take off my hat. In my culture, you don't address an elder wearing something.
What are you saying, elder? I'm 21 years old. What are you talking about?
All right. My name is Mbafane from Near Surface Exploration and Drilling. I'm with my partner here, business partner Zola. So what we do at Near Surface and Drilling, we explore groundwater, and we site positions where you should be drilling for a borehole, and we drill borehole water, groundwater, explore groundwater. Then if there's a need to treat the groundwater we find, we design groundwater treatment systems, and then we treat it, then we supply water. So in the main, our clients are the public sector, government, municipalities. That's where we get most of our business. Now, coming to the question. So at this stage, we are like those businesses that have a good turnover, but the profits is that much. And the reason for that is because at this stage, we tend to outsource a lot of work to other service providers. While the easier one, the consulting side, it's easy to do that because you outsource and then the work is done and then you make good profit there. But on the actual core of the business, which is the drilling, and at the moment we don't have equipment.
Got it.
So we find ourselves outsourcing to other guys, and that costs a lot of money, takes away a lot of our profits. You go to the banks to ask for finance, say, you work for government, we cannot be able to help you. So my question is, are there angel investors that you know of? Because now our growth is going to be delayed, it's going to be stifled by the fact that we don't have...
Let me get to the question. Question. Okay. So anyone who funds a revenue stream, a client base made up of government, is suicidal. Guys, I want to address a broader question, okay? And can we agree two things? Can we agree two things up front? And it's thumbs up or thumbs down. Can we agree that we've all traveled different paths, and there's no right or wrong, there's only an opinion or a point of view based on the path you've traveled? I'm pretty sure that Hope and I would have different ideas on solving a problem because of your experience, Hope, where you've come from, your history, my experience, my history. And some of us have had it slightly easier, and some of us have had it really hard. I honestly believe that business owners find a level because all of us have had to fight for the businesses we have and the business we currently own. I don't know anyone who's had it easy, and I've worked with a lot of people. Our first client in South Africa, 54-year-old white man, started his business. When he came to see us 14 years ago, he was doing 55 million a year. and he'd had the hardest journey I've ever heard. That same person today who's had the hardest journey since then is doing 1.3 billion. There's no such thing as lucky you, easy ride, etc., etc. Whether you're black or white, whether you come from a well-known family or not, the one thing we all have to figure out is that by existing, we're taking something away from others, because that's what competition is all about. And in that, if you're not prepared to fight and fight smartly, then you won't progress. Okay, so let me just say that. The second thing is this. And please, I really, really hope not to offend anyone. Being black is not good enough anymore. 15 years ago, if you were a black South African and you owned a business, you were really special. You were special insofar as, because of the BE codes, companies out there needed to find black-owned businesses to support the transformation of our economy. But today, I've got to tell you, being black is not special for the simple reason the number of black-owned businesses we work with that compete with the best I've seen in the United States and in the UK and in Europe means that corporates out there have choices. 7 years ago, being a black female had an advantage. And now today, the number of black female-owned businesses out there has put the power back in the hands of the customer. So the only way to compete is to be the best. And I'm saying this to the majority of you as black business owners. Please use what we give you to find yourselves moving away from government services, to move away from municipalities, to move away from a procurement process that is fundamentally broken and that relies on patronage. For the majority of you, it's a fantastic place to start, because there's pressure in that environment with compliance around a procurement process that will favor a black-owned business and give you a small advantage to get your foot into the door. But once you've got your foot into the door with government services, please focus your energy to the extent that you can on finding business in the private sector. And it will be hard. It will be hard. Because you come to the private sector and the private sector is going to look at you and say, black-owned business. And what's the procurement person thinking? I can get a better price. And we get a better price. And you've got to overcome that. And the way you overcome that is by saying what makes us special is not our product or our service. What makes us special is the fact that we understand what problem we solve for you, and working with us, we will give you a good experience. You need to be able to show it. Because the moment you can get some of your revenue coming from the private sector, it will open up that opportunity for funding. My second part to my question is, in the beginning, all of us had to outsource. Very few people I know could start a business by buying the drilling equipment and now offering drilling. When I started Aurik, I had to consult. I was paid by the hour. And I had to chase client after client after client and consult. And to deliver 90% of what I promised, I had to work with contractors and other providers. And I would bill 1,000 Rand, and my costs would be 950 Rand. So I worked harder and longer hours, and I got more clients. And eventually I started to understand which clients were the more profitable clients. And with the savings that I made, I then started to buy in resources and insource instead of outsource. And the game that you've got to crack is a corporate will buy from you because you're black owned and they get benefits for that. And they don't care whether you are outsourcing to a white owned company that has the plant and equipment to do the job that you're promising to deliver. And over a period of time, you've got to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. And over a period of time, you've got to get into a client segment that the banks will back. Because banks don't back government for very, very good reason. And it's not a fault in our banking system, it's a fault in how procurement has worked in government for the last 15 years. And the truth is, we need to work with what we've got. So carry on outsourcing because you have to, but direct your new marketing efforts into understanding and learning about the private sector, and then land one, and then another private sector client. And the moment you do that, you're going to get the ear of a funder. So my brother, there's no short answer, there's no easy path. Okay, I'm aware it's 11:30. I'm going to let one more question come through. Gladwin, no, I've used Gladwin so many times as my customer segment. This poor man, it's not fair. Gladwin, introduce yourself other than Pavlo's customer segment. But
okay,
unmute, there we go.
Thank you very much. As you know, all now know my name, I'm Gladwin. Right. I'll introduce my business. We are actually electrical engineering company, and we are based in Polokwane, that's in Limpopo. And we specialize in construction and maintenance of industrial systems. That would be the substations.
Sorry, Gladwin. Everyone have a look at the chat.
Yes.
Have a look at the chat, just very quickly. Gladwin's marketing to you. Ninki here is marketing to you. Joshna is marketing to you. Nomatandazo is marketing to you. You should all be marketing to each other because you can download the chat and save the chat and take advantage. Gladwin doesn't know who Ninki knows. Ninki's listening to Gladwin now. She's learning about Gladwin's business. She knows someone who could use Gladwin's business and service. She makes contact with Gladwin and says, hey, Gladwin, I've got a customer for you. Gladwin learns about Ninki's business. What does Gladwin do? Gladwin's now under pressure to help and support Ninki's future because that's how we are as business owners. Amos, you bring me business. I'm under pressure now to bring you business. Please, whilst Gladwin's asking his question, fill in the detail of your business. Market the business to each other. Sorry, Gladwin, sorry to interrupt you, my brother, but
Okay.
I just wanted to make that point.
Anyway,
Your question.
I was saying we specialize in substations, the constructions and maintenance from low voltage up to a medium voltage of about 33 kV. And we mainly do services for the compliance testing and certification for the mines.
And your
so
question,
yes,
your question, my brother, I don't want to, I'm aware of everyone's time.
It's actually not a question. To me, it's a comment to what you have just said. That working with a government, it's a little bit risky. In the past 15 years, we actually haven't done any work, let's say, to the government also, and we've been working with the private sector. It's a little bit of an uphill because of the stringent requirements in the sector, but it is worth the reward because, in government, you've got a lot of corruption activities going on. It becomes quite a challenge and becomes a risk to the business.
Very, very good points. Very, very good points made. You will be able to build a more sustainable business, I think, across the private sector, because if you learn and understand how the private sector procures and works, it is a far bigger market, and it's a broader market, and it's a more sustainable market. In government, things change, and when things change, relationships change, and service providers change. In government over the last 10 years, who here has not had to pay hurry-up money? And it might not be in cash, and it might be an ox, it might be a bus, it could be anything. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in private sector, but in private sector, if you become expert at servicing the hotel groups, the only reason I say hotel groups is a very big hotel right outside here. If you become expert in servicing the hotel groups, there are many, 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 many hotel groups. You can spread your risk. And I'm so pleased you've made that transition because it's a very, very hard transition to make. Guys, I'm so aware of time. It's 11:35. I know that we're all under pressure, and I did promise that I would not go over. So I want to thank you all. I'm going to ask and end off with just one statement. Please, 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 I'm begging you, please take advantage of what we give you. Please take advantage of what we give you. The asset to value system, that architecture has created success for thousands of businesses. I work with business owners who are in their 60s that were never given access to it. They were given access to MBAs. They were given access to become CAs. They were given access to become engineers. That doesn't build a business. The design on how to build a business into an asset is not given to us across the academic sphere. And what we're offering over here is not only a design for your business, but the tools to make it happen in such a way that once we have completed our work with you, for so long as you've implemented it, Omar, you own and control it. The power remains with you, not with us. So folks, thank you very, very much for making time to attend today. I really appreciate it. Please keep a good lookout on all Aurik activities. We are working right across the world today. The number of South Africans that we are taking into the US, into Europe, into all those areas, because they've built rock solid businesses here. As South Africans, the one thing we don't realize is how strong-minded and resilient we are and how hard we work in comparison to what I've experienced abroad. So please don't think small, think big, but start small. Think big, but with a clear end in mind. Think big, but take the small steps. Thank you all very much. It's been fantastic speaking with you. And I'm watching the dashboards. I'm watching the dashboards. I'm watching the dashboards. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks, Pablo. Bye-bye.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Pavlo, will we get recordings of this?
I'll find out and make sure that you do.
Okay, thank you. Can I email my question to you?
You'll get a response from me in about a year on email.
No.
I get about 600 emails a day.
Okay, thank you.
Directed through a facilitator.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
bye-bye.
because okay, thanks a lot, Pablo. I also had a question about talking to you directly regarding something that the facilitators can assist me with. So would you mind if I pop you an email maybe? And then you can then tell me who to speak to.
Okay, all right. If I can.
Okay.
I don't want to
All
make
right.
promises I can't keep.
Okay. Or please maybe on the dashboard, just send me someone's details that I can contact and then who can let me know what to do.
Contact your facilitator immediately, your integration facilitator, and direct through them.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care. Yeah?
Oh, shit.
Azenjani.